This looker behind me is the BMW X6, and I think it is one of the best looking SUVs around. You found your way to Four Wheels and a Seat. I'm Alex Dalrymple. This is my channel where I review new cars every week. To make sure you don't miss one, please hit the subscribe button down below, the notification bell, and if you enjoy the video, give me a like as well. Now in its third generation, the BMW X6 just keeps getting better and better, and a few bits of gear from the 7 Series have now filtered down and found its way into this vehicle. So it's lost a bit of that sameness that it had before with the 3 and 5 Series cars. So the front of the X6 looks like classic BMW with the blacked out grille and some nice sharp angles down here, a couple of fake vents if I'm honest, but you know what, they look so good, I'm not going to hold it against this car. The front light clusters have been redesigned, these LEDs look awesome and the indicator lights pulsate on and off. Moving around to the side here, this car has been optioned with a few extra bits and pieces. So here we've got 22-inch black alloys that look amazing. Another little fake vent here, but don't tell anyone. Up on top, we've got a sunroof, which isn't really quite as long as I think it should be, but you know, it does the job. I really like the Brooklyn grey colour that this car is in. It's a very interesting sort of slate colour almost, but the coupe shape is just gorgeous with this car. It really does look so much better than a standard SUV. Moving around to the back here, this is one of my favourite angles of the car in fact, but it is maybe just a little bit busy. So we've got some light clusters here that extend right across. The nice exhausts here that make a pretty good noise. Something that looks a bit like a diffuser, but I'm not really sure it actually does anything. But underneath the powered tailgate, we've got a very usable 580 litres of space with a space saver spare tyre under the floor. Knock the rear seats down, you expand that storage space by a further 1,000 litres. Up front and under the bonnet, I feel like I'm a broken record because I seem to say this about every BMW at the moment. Under the hood is a twin-turbo 3-litre straight 6 that outputs 250 kilowatts of power and 450 newton meters of torque, 0 to 100 in 5.5 seconds. Fuel economy comes in at an average of 9 litres per 100 kilometres on a combined cycle. Quite a big engine bay. There is room in here for a 8-cylinder engine and you can up-spec to that. There's also a diesel version as well. Power goes to all 4 wheels via an 8-speed automatic transmission. This engine is also a mild hybrid, allowing for it to switch off when coasting at low speeds and smoother stop-starts when you're stopped at the lights. It's probably inside where you'll notice the biggest differences with the latest update with the X6, mainly because this car now has operating system 8, incorporating the 2 LED screens in a curved display. There's also a few little touchy-feely bits in here that have found their way from the 7 Series car. So there's the crystal gear changer, a few crystal details across the belt line here, some extra flourishes with the ambient lighting. It's feeling very, very nice in here inside the X6. So for first-time users, operating system 8 can seem a little bit overwhelming, but after you've gotten used to it, it's actually surprisingly easy to use. There's also wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and just for something different, the sound system is by Harman Kardon and has 10 speakers and sounds pretty good. So one of the things I like most about this interior redesign are the air vents. Now I first saw these in the 7 Series and they're very nearly invisible. And they're a little more visible here than they are in the 7 Series, but I really like the joystick controls so you can change the direction of the air and also toggle them on and off by switching them side to side. The X6 light here changes color with the drive mode. You can also change the color with the ambient lighting controls on the center screen. Moving down here, we've got this nice slidey lid here that's covered in carbon fiber that hides your cup holders and the wireless phone charging. The lower console here, very familiar to any BMW drivers in the way that it's laid out, but we've got an additional nice little crystal iDrive knob here to control the center screen, as well as the crystal gear changer and the stop start button. It all feels a little bit spesh. The armrest here is dual opening and has a nice soft armrest on the top of it. Good sized bin, nice and deep with a USB-C port in there. Up in front of the driver, the head-up display is nice and bright, although unfortunately it doesn't work well with polarized sunglasses. It's pretty well invisible. The digital instrument cluster, typical operating system 8 setup, so there are a few different display modes that you can customize and change between. but it's a really, really good system, and maps from Apple CarPlay integrate really well with this system, so you can actually have those in front of you instead of the regular BMW native navigation, which I actually prefer. Steering wheel, nice BMW unit, feels nice and chunky, nice leather and stitching, so it feels really good in the hand. There's also electric height and reach adjustment, paddle shifters on the back. The seats are Vernasca leather, and as you'd expect, they are very comfortable with full electric adjustment, adjustable bolsters, and they are heated but not ventilated, unfortunately. Good lumbar support, so it's a very comfortable seat. BMW are really good at making cars that feel very sporty to sit in. Even though you're riding up quite high, the seating position still feels quite sporty. So because the dash rides up kind of high, it does feel like I'm kind of low, but I've got great visibility out the front, right to the front corners of the bonnet. The wing mirrors are nice and large. The rear windshield is just a little bit because it sort of slopes at a very extreme angle, there's not a lot of visibility through there. But other than that, this is quite a great place to be sitting. The back seat of the X6 is not bad. I mean, it's not huge. As behind my own sitting position, I'm 190 centimeters tall. Look, my shins are actually touching the back of the seat in front of me, but probably not a deal breaker. Because of the coupe shape and the low sloping roof, headroom is not so good for me, but if you're a little bit shorter, I think you'll be fine. In terms of backseat amenities, look, I'm actually confused as to whether or not there's a zone of air conditioning back here or not, because there's no actual controls other than sort of a little dial here to indicate either hot or cold, but you're not actually changing the temperature with this. So yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on with that. We do have USB-C charging ports in the seat backs here, and there is a armrest with a mechanical cup holder and another little storage bin in the armrest there. So look, you know what, I think backseat passengers will actually be pretty comfortable back here in the X6. The X6 is a large car and it can make parking a little bit tricky, but the X6 can of course park itself. So let's just try that out now. I've stopped next to a car to do a parallel reverse park. So I'm putting the car into reverse. I'm saying start reverse parking, taking my foot off the brake, and here we go. I have to say, I'm feeling a lot more comfortable with cars doing this now than I used to. The artificial intelligence is just getting better and better. And that is a perfect park. You could pass your P's test quite easily by parking like that. Steering in comfort mode is actually a bit on the lifeless and numb side. It's just a bit too dead. You really do need to put it into sport mode to get a good amount of feeling out of it. But then of course, in the default sport mode, you've got a lot of extra performance going on, which is not always what you want when you're driving around the city. So my advice would be just to design your own individual drive mode in the configurable drive settings. Safety gear, well, this is a luxury SUV, so you're not really missing out on anything at all. The features I seem to notice the most are the forward collision alert, the blind spot monitors in the wing mirrors, and the top-down 360 view when you're parking the car manually. So the difference between a mild hybrid and a traditional hybrid is that this car doesn't really get powered by any electric power when it's moving. And I know that sounds a little bit counterintuitive, but essentially it's there to make the stop-start system work more smoothly, and when you're coasting at dead slow speeds, like inching forward in traffic, it might not engage the engine then, depending on how heavily you push on the accelerator. So the fuel savings aren't really quite as big as what you get in a regular hybrid. The 3-litre straight 6 in this car does make a very nice noise and performs really well, but I would love to hear what the 8-cylinder sounds like in this car. I can only imagine that the extra Newton meters and kilowatts would make it an epic car to drive. So the thing I really love about this SUV is that more than some of the other more sporty BMWs, it really does give you that sensation of being a supremely comfortable daily driver with very polite manners for around town. But if you want to have a little bit of fun in the corners and take it for a bit of a stretch of its legs on the weekend, it is more than capable of doing that too. A coupe-shaped SUV is not for everyone, but if you want to stand out in the school pickup or on the sidelines of a weekend rugby match, then the BMW X6 is definitely one to check out.